Fly fishermen from across the San Fernando Valley and beyond converge at Fisherman's Spot in Van Nuys. The yearly Fly Fishing Expo lures faithful fans of a popular fishing phenomenon that is enjoyed in the country's most beautiful streams and rivers.
Well, this is our 9th annual fly fishing festival that we do in the springtime. It's a kind of kickoff to the trout season opener for the season. The trout season opens the end of April, and we do our show the end of March or the first part of April to coincide with getting people excited about the new season coming up. Out in the back, there are the rods, reels, clothing, flies, and inside the store here, we have some fly tying demonstrations going on by some fly tyers. So. They're pretty good fly tyers in their own right, and we try and vary that every year with something new and something different. Outside in the back, there's a casting area set up for people if they want to demonstrate. The manufacturers have rods that they can give people to cast and try out, and hopefully out of that we'll get people with some new gear and really ready for the season.
Tying flies is really quite an art, and this shop is rather unique, I think, in the Los Angeles area.
It's the only full-fledged fly shop in the city of Los Angeles and here in San Fernando Valley especially. There are other stores that carry some fly fishing equipment, but really, all in all, we're the only true fly fishing only store.
It must be that people come from all over to visit you here.
Well, for this show, we've advertised out as far north as Santa Barbara, as far east as the Inland Empire, and out into the high desert area for people to come in, even for Orange County area. So it's a big thing for us. It takes a lot of work and effort to put this show together, and we feel good about it. And every year it's growing bigger and bigger and bigger.
To the true fly fishing devotee, half the fun is in creating the fly, and many of them can resemble miniature works of art as displayed by a seasoned American fly tyer who ironically now conducts her trade in the country of Thailand. When you tie the flies, are you at the time creating or do you have a preset idea of what you're going to do?
Well, it's both. It's multifaceted. I'm actually an innovator. Most of what I do is innovation. I've specialized in foam-related products and saltwater and warm water patterns. But I can also take just what we call a traditional pattern, and we do a lot of traditional patterns. A traditional pattern would be something like an Adams, pheasant tails.
Tell us a little bit about the techniques used in tying flies.
We're most famous in the design of hopper patterns. And we have many, many different hopper styles, and they're made out of foam, which keeps the flotation high. When I first started being involved in the fly tying industry, we were primarily servicing the Flaming Gorge / Green River area, and they have a huge cicada that comes off of that particular area. And the fishermen were always complaining to me, can't we do something to keep this pattern up instead of keeping it sinking? They wanted it to be right on the surface. And so we designed and came up with a lot of different foam products that we've had specifically made for the industry.
I guess that little foam piece is on top of the fly that keeps it up?
That's correct. Way up. Rides it high so that it's totally onto the top of the water. You don't want it to go down into the surface.
At the weekend event, anglers are given full access to test the newest and latest fly fishing gear that is available.
First of all, the reel and the rod, it's a totally different function than a conventional fishing tool. It's actually the weight of the line that loads and bends the rod, and that's what actually delivers a very lightweight fly to the target. In a conventional fishing situation, you have a heavily weighted lure or bait, which loads and bends the rod, and you have a very thin monofilament that goes along for the ride. In fly fishing, it's actually the weight of the line that bends the rod. So that's why we have these very thick diameter fly lines and very long rods, which are designed to cast this relatively lightweight line.
I can't help but notice that this is a brilliant green, I guess that is. Why the color?
Yeah, good question. The color of the fly line is actually designed so we can see it when it's on the water. And then attached to that, we'll have a very thin line, which is we call a leader, which actually fools the fish. So when we're making a cast, we need to see where our fly line is going, and once it lands on the water, we need to then manipulate the line to get the proper presentation to fool the fish. And so we use brightly colored lines and tapered leaders, which is a thin monofilament piece that actually fools the fish.
I imagine it's important to have a good balance with all of this so you get that little fly out in the water where it's supposed to be.
That's right. The rods are measured in lengths, like a 9-foot for a 5 weight, and then the weight is designed to go with the appropriate fly line. So we have the weight of the line, which effectively loads the weight of the rod. So they're designed to match one another out and balance one another out perfectly.
What about the science of that reel? I'm sure there must be something technical about it.
They are. This is the T-bore tailwater reel. It's very, very lightweight. One of the trends we're seeing in fly fishing today is what we call a large arbor, and that is a larger arbor size here. So when we're fighting a fish, we can reel in the line quicker, which is a popular trend. Very, very lightweight, and one made with a very smooth drag system. So when you're fighting a very big fish on very light tippet, it's a joy to land those fish on that sort of situation.
Now, the particular rod and reel that you have there is geared up for what type of fish or what size and all?
This is our most popular configuration, and it's a 9-foot in length, 4 pieces, so it breaks down relatively small. So if you're traveling, today's travel environment, a lot of people like in Southern California are traveling to different destinations to go fishing. And so it breaks down to a piece relatively small so they can take it in a suitcase or carry it on with them. This is a great all-around trout size, and it is our most popular size. Again, the 5 weight is designed for typical trout fishing situations, and it's just the best all-around size that we have for most situations.
During the afternoon, John dispenses tips and instructions on how to correctly cast a fly fishing rod, as well as hints on how much slack to allow and when to reel in the catch. Of course, fly fishing is certainly not without its own creature comforts. Personal fishing chairs, called float tubes, allow fishermen mobility while they paddle their way around wearing state-of-the-art swim fins. Is it different from, say, the type a scuba diver would be using?
This is almost exactly like what a scuba diver would use, except for the fact that we address this particular sport by employing very flexible rubber, which is referred to as the durometer, and this is a 55 durometer rubber, which allows...
I'm sorry, durometer?
Durometer, that's flexibility, and it allows the float tuber to be able to move through the water smoothly without disturbing the fish, or at least disturbing them at the minimum, and it allows the person to have plenty of power to get back to the shore, into the wind, when the day is done, and it floats.
It floats?
Very important.
Oh.
It's the only one that does it the float tubers are using. This is brand new. We're introducing it today. And as we approached the market, we looked at it and discovered, lo and behold, nobody's product floated. And our factory manufactures a lot of different types of dive fins, none of which float, but we made this one float and used the same dive fin technology. And here's the hotspot float fin.
It's kind of like camouflage, too. If I were a fish looking up at that, I probably wouldn't know you were a human with those strange feet.
Thank you.
Your model here is showing us what's going on?
Yeah. This is my robot, JP, and he's demonstrating the fact of how easy it is to kick the fin, how little motion it takes to create power, and when he takes it off, it floats.
I did notice some people out in the lot from Montana and other states as well.
Yeah, every year we also try and get some various guide services and lodges from throughout the West. And Montana and Idaho are some of the special places that people like to go to, and those are some very special lodges, and you should take the opportunity and go visit these places and really see what a really high-end, high-quality fly fishing lodge is all about.
Now, where do you prefer to fish?
Well, I have fished it's in the Sierra Nevada range. I fished in not in Montana, unfortunately, yet, but I fished in New Mexico, I fished in Colorado, I fished in Nevada. So I've gotten around, but I'm still young enough to where there's so many good places around there. I'm going to one day start hitting more and more places.
When I do fish, I hit on the Snake River, the Green River are two of my favorite rivers, and I usually hit it into the midsummer where I'm actually fishing a great big huge stonefly, something that's on the surface with a dropper method, and the big hoppers, of course, come on later into July and August. So that's primarily the time that I get back to the United States from Thailand. I spend most of my time in Thailand, but I do try to get home into the late summer and early fall and hit on some of those.
I think one thing that's attractive about fly fishing is the serenity, the scenery, and just getting away from it all.
Yeah, that's really true, because a lot of times it's not about how many fish you catch. It's about the experience of getting out there on the water and just you're right, the serenity of it, and just taking in everything. And one day you'll see eagles soaring around you, and one day you'll see other critters around you, and it's just kind of nice to be out there and really see what nature has to offer out there. And the fish is just a really nice bonus at the end of the day. It doesn't, we don't care how many fish we catch at times. We just want to be active all day long and just take in everything.